Roll call.
Mayor Tony Ball,
Here.
Vice Mayor Bill Coster,
Here.
Alderman John Bud,
Here.
Alderman Freddie Gregg,
Here.
Alderwoman Kathleen Holt,
Here.
Alderman Kenny Morgan, City Attorney Terry Hunt,
Here.
City Administrator James Fincher.
Here.
I think Kenny had called James. He has his kids at the dentist.
Yes,
And he's going to try to get here. Okay, you have your minutes from the May the 13th, 2014 session that we had. You've had an opportunity to look at those. Do we have a motion to approve, or does anyone know of any corrections or additions that need to be made?
There is a correction, Connie. Second reading of 2014-03 amending the beer ordinance.
It's got in there, in one spot, we found it there just a moment ago. It's a second reading, but in one there's a typo where inside of it, where at one point it refers to it as a first reading. We just need to change that.
Okay,
From
so
first. Yeah, it's just a typo that got in there. We missed.
okay. Any other corrections or additions? Do we have a motion to approve of that correction?
Make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposes no. I hear none. Nothing for item 4. Item 5, correspondence from Interim City Administrator James Fincher.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well,
First of all, we have a thank you card from the mayor to the council and city employees saying, thank you so much for the flowers you sent to the family on Lon's behalf. It was thoughtful of you thinking about us during this time. We were very fortunate to have had Lon for over 83 years. We were very fortunate of having you thinking of us. God bless the Ball family, Connie, Marsha, Amy, CJ, Tiffany, Taylor, and Dean Ball. So
thank you,
I
James.
just wanted to share that with everybody. Excuse me. One thing I wanted to bring you up to speed on, I've talked to y'all individually about this some. I don't think it comes as a shock to anybody that we have a problem with geese on the Riverwalk. And it's not only on the Riverwalk, but it is also in front of City Hall, in front of the police station. They, for a long time, I don't know, during the winter, they stayed away from our buildings and stayed on the river, but now that it's got hot, they're back up here around the buildings. Every day, the employees have to come and try to clean the front off the parking lots and the sidewalks so people can walk in and out of our buildings. People track that stuff into the building, they track it into their vehicles and take it home. The river walk is buried in it every morning. We're spending 10 to 12 hours per week just trying to keep bird droppings moved so people can utilize the river walk. We're getting complaints, a lot of complaints about the river walk. We've had some complaints about the parking lots in front of our facilities. We have consulted with TWRA. They were actually down here today, and we did a walk up and down the river. And what we propose to do is to try and relocate some of these geese, to find them homes. The people that's got creeks and ponds and stuff that would love to have some geese, we're going to try to get those things relocated to them. Now, there's three kinds of birds on the river. There's white geese, mallard ducks, and Canadian geese. Now, the Canadian geese and the mallard ducks, we got to leave alone. But the white geese are considered domesticated fowl. And the TWRA says we can move as many of them as we'd like, and those are the ones we're having the problem out of. Those are the ones that's kind of had a population explosion and are overwhelming us everywhere. So TWRA says that they cannot help us relocate them because they are a domesticated fowl, but they said that Fish and Game could. So we are in the process of getting in contact with Fish and Game and seeing if they will assist us with it. If not, we're going to learn the best way to do it. We talked to TWRA representative today on how's the best way to capture a goose and to relocate. So unless you all have some kind of issue with that I'm not aware of, that's what we intend to do, is to try to relocate the geese, the white geese. Like I say, the mallards and the Canadian geese, we can't bother. They're all protected wildlife. You can hunt them in the fall, but you can't relocate them. You know, I don't get that. You know, you can shoot them, but you can't find them a home. So I don't understand that, but that's the law, and we got to go by the law. So,
And you can't shoot in the city.
true. So we have no intention of harming any of them. We just want to try to tame down this population explosion because it's really overwhelming us. And so I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. I also wanted to get the word out so that if anybody knows anybody that'd like to have some of these, we'll try to get them to them. If they have a pond or a creek or whatever and they'd like to have some white geese, they can score. We'll get them to them. So,
I'm thinking that Tito, he's gonna bring down to Del Rio.
bring them all to the river.
Yeah, leave there.
There's your location.
We have been approved on the home grant program again. Of course, they had held off for a while. We just got notified that we have been awarded. Have no details on any of the processes yet other than it is a 100% grant and we got $375,000. So I know that's been a popular program in the past. A lot of folks have asked about it. When was it going to come back around again? And of course, you don't know. It's just when the state decides to put it out there. So we did get it, but we'll have to get more details on how to go about applying and all that. They've not given us any of the guidelines yet. They just notified that we have been awarded the grant. And that's all the info I have at this time.
But it will be, I think, a type of grant where people will fill out applications.
Yes, sir.
And then they will be screened
Correct.
according to need as long as the money lies, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Now, one thing that, the way it was explained to me when we applied, that is different. That it's not been done in the past. In the past, if $30,000 would not repair your person's home, then they considered it a total loss and they went in and built them a new house. They've done away with that. They will no longer build you a house. So, and this is another thing I don't really agree with it. If your repair goes over their maximum amount, now they're saying they may raise the maximum amount to $40,000. Won't know till I get all the details. But either way, whether it's $30,000 or $40,000, if your house can't be brought up to specs with that amount, then you get disqualified. And see, I don't agree with that. You know, the most needy gets disqualified. So I don't agree with that. But that's, again, we don't get to make up the guidelines. And Evan Sanders and I, when we talked about that when we were applying, he talked about, he's the one who pointed that out to me. And he didn't agree with it either. But he said that's a new stipulation they put in there that nobody agrees with, but the government in its infinite wisdom decided that's the way to go. So we have to go with the guidelines. Whatever they give us, we have to abide by. But that is a change that Evan said would be in there this year. No more, we cannot build houses. Totally tear down and start from scratch. And that's something we were able to do in the past. But he said that's been taken away. So I'll know more when I get the packets. But that's the only thing I know for sure right now is we have been awarded the grant. I had notification from the Plain Talk on the People's Choice Awards, and of course we have a category for city government every year. The best politician is Mayor Connie Ball. The best city law enforcement officer was Jason Ramsey. The best city firefighter was Mark Ramsey, and the best city employee was me. I don't know.
Good job.
I don't know if that says, I don't know if that means that the competition's weak. I don't know. Again, some of y'all that I got a chance to speak with, I made you aware of this. And I don't know, it just seemed, for some reason recently, this has become an issue on the roadblocks, and Johnny just recently bought new vests for us to use on the roadblocks. Well, through his fund. And we let them have them. They come in and we let them have the vests when they, get the roadblocks. And we've not really had a problem in the past about getting those back. But for some reason, that's become a problem. We've been having to really hound people to get our vests back. We've still got, did we ever get that one group back that took to Florida? Okay. We had one group that took them to Florida with them, and we had to call and practically threaten them with the law to get them to send them back. And so we have modified the form that they fill out saying that they are responsible for returning these vests, or we will charge them we'll be billing them for the cost. So just to make you aware, I mean, that's something that we probably should have been in there already, but it always been on the honor system and never had a problem until here lately. And I don't know, that one group, I don't know why they thought they could just take all the vests and not bring them back, took them to Florida, so.
Could we charge a deposit?
No, we don't.
Could
But we could, yeah.
I think we should charge a deposit, and when they bring them back, they get the deposit back.
Well, that's, I mean, if y'all want to do that, that's fine.
It's $150. It wouldn't cover all the vests, but it would be enough that they would bring all back.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's fine, whatever y'all think. I mean, if that's y'all's pleasure, that's fine with me.
Why don't we charge the fee would be how much the 10 vests cost?
Well, I mean, that's up to y'all, I mean,
That's ridiculous.
but that's, you know, until recently, we just hadn't had a problem with it. And I don't know, it's like the last 2 or 3 that we've had, it's just been an issue.
Well, maybe those look a little bit better than the other ones. And they did. They look better. I'll buy some more.
Well, we're good, we've got them back. I think we've got them all but one back.
I'd make
I
a
would suggest that the sponsor, whoever signs to be the sponsor, agrees to be liable for the cost of the
Well,
vehicle.
that's what we put on there, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's what we put on the new form, that they are liable for the cost of, you know, the vests.
Well,
that they're
that'll
not
take care of
returning.
it.
Well,
But
make
now,
sure
I mean-
that that person that signs
Yeah.
understands he or she is liable.
Yeah, well, like I say, we have modified the form, and that is on there now. We are currently having a surplus auction on Gov Deals. We've got some old trucks on there, we've got some fencing, and Rocky's adding stuff every day. I don't know if he's got, I don't think he's got everything on there that he's gonna put on there, but he's adding stuff every day. We put a little ad in the paper that it was going on, so the public, the local public could be aware of it, and so just to make you aware that that is going on, and again, to get the publicity of it out there for everybody to know that it's there and it's available for anybody that wants to get on it and sign up and go at it. One thing we're going to try to do, starting next month, we're going to bring back the Employee of the Month segment of the council meeting. That's something we got away from back last year. I have asked the department heads to consider ways to do it that's a little better organized than how it was done in the past, and we're going to work on that at the department head meeting this month, but it is my intent to bring that back next month and start that back up at the July meeting, and that'll be in the new fiscal year. So I think that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Okay, item 6, several appointments to boards. Economic Development Commission was needing, I talked to Freddie, he had been currently serving and he no longer wished to serve. And I've asked Johnny Bugg, and he's willing to serve on the Economic Development Commission. And I am reappointing Cecil Gillen and Glenna Hayworth back to the Planning Commission. Both of them currently serves there now. And item D is the Fire Civil Service Board. Kenneth Calfee was appointed by the Civil Service Board as their representative. Anybody got any questions or comments concerning A through D in item 6? Okay, moving on to item 7 is a report from the Tanner Preservation Alliance.
Yes. You got something on my trade.
My name is Kathy Moscato. I'm Vice President of the Tanner Preservation Alliance. I am thrilled to report that we finally got our 501c3 tax exemption status, effective as of October 4th, 2012, when we first applied. That's a major accomplishment. Also, last Wednesday, a group of us, including Mr. Morgan and Mr. Finch, met with the CDC over at the Tanner Building to begin some preliminary sort of discussions and plans as to the use and what's needed for to bring it up to code. And they emailed, excuse me, they emailed everybody that was present a summary of their findings, their initial findings. And so it's an ongoing process. But it was a very nice event, and there was probably 15 people there. So we're happy that things are moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8, under old business. Item A is consideration to accept the Newport Grammar School budget into the City of Newport budget for fiscal year 2014-2015.
I'll make a motion.
We got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? I hear none. Item B is consideration of second reading of ordinance 2014-04, the City of Newport budget for fiscal year 2014-2015.
And Mayor, I'll move to capture that ordinance into the record. It's ordinance number 2014-04. An ordinance of the City of Newport, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget for the City of Newport and the annual budget for the Newport Grammar School and tax rate for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2014 and ending June 30th, 2015. This will be the second reading.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve on the second reading?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Item 9 under new business. Item A is consideration of resolution 2014-07 tax anticipation note.
Mayor, as y'all know, each year for the past several years, we've had to acquire a tax anticipation loan just to carry us through the lean times in the fall before the property taxes begin arriving in October. Once again, we are going to have to do that. Sadly, we're getting ready to pay the one for last year off, and we need to turn right around and start that process over. So what I would like is y'all's permission to move forward to start requesting bids on a tax anticipation note in the same amount as last year. And then once we get the bids, we'll come back at another meeting and let you all accept the bid on it. But I'd just like permission to move forward. Of course, we can't do anything. We can ask for the bids, but we can't do anything until the budget comes back from the comptroller approved. So, but right now, all I'm wanting to do is to get our info out to the lending institutions and let them look at giving us a proposal.
And that's $600,000, correct? Any discussion or a motion to permit the tax anticipation note to be pursued?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Item B is consideration of partial closure of Frog Pond Alley. Does everybody pretty well understand that, or do we need Mark to?
Now, you all know that on this Frog Pond Alley place, it's like if you're not careful and you fill that hole all the way in, it's gonna flood the people down below it. So you have to be careful. It's like a spring, a natural spring.
I think that's gonna be closed for the, is it? They're gonna build.
Habitat.
They're gonna build houses up there, Marcus. Already talked to them about all that, I think that's gonna be.
Mark, do you know about the hole?
Yes, now this is on the far eastern end of Frog Pond Alley. It's across the road from the one where the big hole is. So it really shouldn't have much effect,
Okay.
I don't think, on that end.
Matter of fact, it's at the upper end of it. Barely can get a Volkswagen through it. It's real narrow.
It's on the cemetery end of Frog Pond Alley.
Well, I just didn't want to get into a situation where you build somebody's house and then you flood everybody else out, then
Yeah,
it's gonna be
I
a
thought the
problem.
same thing, and I went and looked at it.
We have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Item C is discussion of an amendment to the zoning ordinance to allow accessory structure on vacant lots.
Okay, what's that?
Mark, can you come to, since we're recording?
Yeah, if you don't get at the podium, the recording will not be.
It is. There was a gentleman that lives in Indian Hills that is interested in buying some property that's down on McSwain Springs Road. And you should have a colorized map like that, as well as on the backside. Did you have to do this? Yeah. Smile. Okay, go away. On the back side is a tax map that shows the property, which has 7 lots on it and a private unopened street. It's near the springs that's on the curve on McSwain Springs Road. This is part of Indian Hills, and it's also zoned as an R-1 residential district. Our regulations specify that the principal building on any property in a residential zone is supposed to be the house. And then you can have an accessory structure, which could be a carport, a garage, or a storage building. This gentleman wants to build a storage building on the property, and then sometime down the road, put a double wide on the property as well. So it's sort of like the cart before the horse type thing. The Planning Commission discussed it, and they don't really have a problem with the concept of the storage building that he wants to put there. But the way that the planners interpreted the ordinance was the house needs to be there first, then you can build the storage building. And so they recommended sending this to City Council to see if you all interpret it in a different way, and if you would like the Planning Commission to work up a amendment to the ordinance that might allow a little flexibility in this type of situation, or if you prefer for it to stay same type of regulation as we have. Any questions?
You approve this, Mark? You agree with this?
Well, no, I have to go by the way the ordinance is written. And in my opinion, it says an accessory structure is, let's see, what is the word? Well, it is accessory to the principal building, which needs to be the house. So my belief is you got to have the house there before you can have the building, the accessory building.
I make a motion, we leave it as is.
I think that it would be better off left as is.
We got a motion to leave as is. We have a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
The reason we did that, because exactly the same thing.
Right.
We was in the planning commission, we wanted to help the man, but rules are rules. That's why they sent it to us. We made the right decision.
All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none.
Thank you.
As is. Item D is consideration of banners for Relay for Life. I had that put on there on behalf of Katie Thomas, chairman of the Relay for Life. She's here. I don't think that at the last council meeting, we completely done away with banners going up from the plain top across the road. And they have spent quite a bit of money already have their banner made, and I'd like to see them be able to put that up as we have in the past for others, at least until the council decides to make some kind of change in hanging those banners there. Does anybody have a problem with them hanging it?
I thought we did vote to do away with hanging them from building to building.
Well, I've called down here and I believe they told me that we hadn't voted on it.
I think we did, and
It should be in the minutes.
We agreed
Yeah.
to put them on the
if we
property.
voted to put them on the corners. On each corner.
I don't know if that was last meeting or the one before, I can't remember now.
It was at the last meeting.
I'm just going to make a recommendation that since
Yeah.
they already had this banner in the process, that's $300 or $400 banner being made, and it for Relay for Life, that we at least consider letting this one be hung maybe as the last one.
The only problem I got, I've said it before and I've said it again, the banner is hung on the flame talk and the other banner is hung on somebody else's building. It ain't even ours. I mean, I don't, our best is,
And I agree with that.
I mean, that's
I
just
agree
not-
that that's something that,
and if we do that for them, and I'm for y'all, Relay for Life, I'm for that. But if you do it for them, you gotta do it for everybody else. I mean, I'm against putting hanging this. It's a liability. We had to have the fire department come out there and take the wire down the last time. To me, it's a liability. That's my opinion.
Does the secretary of the building have any objections?
I don't know of any objections. Do you, James, that's come
There's
about?
been no objections from the property owners to the building.
And Johnny, I agree that they shouldn't be hung there. But what I'm doing is pleading their case because they were already had this banner in the process of being made, not knowing that we had changed it. Now they've got a banner that they won't be able to use unless we,
What side of banner they got? I mean, we got poles, we got stretch out there. I don't.
Katie, would you come and speak?
How big's your banner? I hate to.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Katie Thomas. I'm chairperson for Relay for Life 2014. We did have the banner made by certain specifications to go across Broadway where previous banners have gone. It has been made to withstand weather and rain. We actually had it made at an extra expense, so the banner would be sturdy and not fall down. And we would like consideration to hang it. If that's not the case, we understand, but since we did go to some extra expense to have the banner made specifically for this reason, we would like to have consideration to hang it across the Broadway highway.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying. I'm in 100% agreement with the banner thing, but here's a group that's kind of got caught doing something, then we come along and change the rule, and here they are with the banner. So my suggestion would be if council would consider for this one banner due to the circumstances.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none.
Thank you very much.
Make it known that nobody else can ask because
Mayor, if I could, on behalf of traffic safety, is the question whether the banner hangs there, or the question, do we hang it? I mean, if the cable belongs to two different businesses and somebody else hangs it, I wonder what our liability would be versus where we go and physically put it up. That's a mild question.
That's a good question.
Well, we talked when it failed us to start hanging the banner. We talked to TML, and TML said that the real liability with it is in the hanging and taking down because of you create traffic control zones, you you've got people working there, you got traffic blocked, you have to properly maintain the zone. There were guidelines on how it had to be hung. There had to be specific kinds of hardware on the walls. Tim checked that, and it met the standards. The banners had to be made a certain way that would fit there and stay. Of course, the last one that we put up didn't stay. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, it was flapping in the wind, and the fire department had to come down at 3 a.m. in a storm and take it down. And so what we got into and what we discussed was, in the minutes, and when I went back, that's the wrong set, that's got injected in, that's an earlier discussion we had on that way back. So that's not right either in the minutes. What we discussed last time was, and what I'd gotten into, and it was falling on me to decide who got to hang a banner. And of course, when we first, it come to us to start doing it, we talked about who qualified and who didn't. And we agreed that it would be a 501c3, a community group or whatever, that not for individuals, like they wanted to say happy birthday Christine or whatever. You know, that was not going to be allowed. But then what immediately happened with the first banner we put up, it didn't stay. It was flapping in the wind at 3 a.m. and had to be taken down. And the other thing was, we had two groups wanting the location at the same time. We had the Relay for Life folks, and we had the Empower Cock County folks, both wanting to hang a banner at the same time for the same amount of time. One wanted 3 weeks and one wanted 4 or something. It was real close to the same amount of time. And they called the same day. Now, one called like earlier in the day than the other, and so, you know, you're going to take one and exclude one. And to me, it was all a lot of problem. And that's when I came to you all last month and discussed it, and that Tim and I had talked about, and that Tim had suggested that instead of hanging these banners, we put them on the corner down at the Gateway Park, and more cars will see them. We're not having to block traffic, get up in the air, and if they get messed up, they're easier to get to and to fix. And so, you know, and that's where we were at this point. There wasn't any vote. We just talked about it because I think the mayor asked last time, did there need to be a vote? And Terry said he didn't feel so, that was, you know, we could just handle it that way, and that's the way we were going to handle it. But then Tim called me and said that the Relay for Life folks were very disappointed that they weren't getting to hang their banner, and I told him that, you know, he asked would I like to make an exception, and my ruling was no, because that was the guidance that I'd been given by you all at the last meeting, that this was going to be the rule, and so I said no. And so Tim wanted to know, well, what was their recourse, and I said, you know, that you all have to change your mind, and so they called the mayor. And the mayor put it on the agenda.
We never did.
No, you didn't vote. You all just said that you thought what I had said was right, and just to go with that, and you know, Terry said that didn't need to be voted on, that you could just, you know, that was a guidance thing, and that didn't have to be voted. So y'all didn't vote either way.
Katie, how much time are you looking at hanging the banner? Will it be there?
Well, right now, it's going to be there for 2 weeks. Actually, we were hoping to hang it last week, so we wanted a total to hang it for 3 weeks. Relay is on June 21st, so after June 21st, of course, it could most certainly come down. Relay for Life, we have a small budget when it comes to advertising. We are not looking to, if it's complicated, if it's too difficult for the city to hang the banner, that's not our agenda. I don't think I was educated in the complications. We would very much like to hang it there because we did have it specifically made for there. But if the council feels it is too difficult, we would understand. Again, we would like to hang it, but if we're not, you know, it's okay. We're a happy group of people. We don't want to cause strife with regards to this. If it needs to go on the corner, that's fine. It was, just so you know, it was made specifically to hang. It was made by the same company that has made the Del Rio banners, the Newport Street Festival banners, which to my knowledge have not fallen. It is made to go there. It should be sturdy. It should stay. But again, If it has to go in the corner, we would understand that. We just really want to get it out so people come to Relay for Life and support cancer research and survivorship. That's our ultimate goal.
Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome, thank you.
And I might add that we support all these groups, but what we got into was, specifically, we had 2 groups wanting it at the same time. And so, like I say, you go first come, first serve is about the only thing you can do. I mean, because you got to choose, and you can't say this group is more deserving than this. So that was what was weighing on me, having to say, yeah, you can, and no, you can't.
I think we all agree that they should be on the corner down there, not hanging on the building. I think what we need to do is get an ordinance together and bring it before council and let us approve it to stop the whole thing.
I think we should too, make it official.
We can do that, yeah.
But how can we make an ordinance on something that don't even belong to us? How can you do that? You can't say go down there and blank off my one on our building.
Well, you could just say no hanging of banners across any roadway, or any state highway, however you want to define it.
I don't think that housing authority or whatever, whoever owns that down there now, want to complain about it.
And they did ask them.
Yeah.
They did that.
The state owns it, the right of way.
Tim, didn't you say they asked them, that y'all asked about the?
Yeah, the housing authority owns the property, and the state owns a small portion through there.
But you did ask them on that.
Oh, I'm talking about the buildings, I know about that.
Yeah, well, the plain talk, I talked to David Popeil, he said he didn't care what got hung up there, and I think Kelly Stokely owns the other.
I'm not asking for an ordinance for the building, I'm asking for an ordinance to take them away from hanging them on the building and put them on the corner.
I got you.
You can get that for us, can't you?
Yes, sir.
We can do, we can go all that for it.
We voted to. I don't,
Who's gonna have it?
yeah, who's going to hang it?
It'll be 10, guys.
Can you handle one more, Tim?
You say hang a baby, we're on it.
Now, what Sherry had said was that when they did, I think I reported that back to y'all too, when they did it before, they used 2 trucks. And what Sherry had said was that it goes up quicker, and they would provide a second truck and help hang it, if we were going to continue hanging them, that they would be glad to come down and assist with a second truck so we could hang both ends at one time, as opposed to hanging one end and moving the truck and then hanging the other end. You could hang both ends simultaneously and do it quicker and a shorter time that you've interrupted the flow of traffic. I think that's right.
Is anyone from Relay for Life, can anyone not hang it from Relay for Life?
Well, we'd have to do it, because you're going to have to block, because you could let them, I guess you could let them if they fell out, they put a ladder up there and they fell out in the road. I don't know if after you said, yeah, it's okay to go do it, and they fall backwards on the ladder out in the middle of traffic, you might have a problem.
If we can get through this one. The last one.
Tim, are you okay with hanging?
I don't care.
Just have us
We're all right with
ordinance,
it.
just say we're gonna have something.
We did some things for our staff, and through James' help, we got some videos, and so we did some training on how we need to be on the middle of the road, and what we're supposed to do, so we'll need to stand.
And that was part of what TML required, and those videos came from TML.
Okay, moving on to item E, a couple of roadblocks in the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Under item 10, bids. Item A is consideration of bids for used oil absorbent pad for the used oil grant.
As y'all will recall, at the last meeting, we had this on the agenda and we had no bids. And so Ben called around and pretty much begged people to bid on this. It was one of the grant requirement was that each one of these things had to be bid on separately. And that's just a grant requirement. Normally, we wouldn't be bidding stuff that's just, it's less than $5,000, but that was a stipulation in the grant that we couldn't get out of. So Ben put it back out. We did get some bids back in. Ben's been in training. I don't know, I hadn't seen him come in. He was in Knoxville. Yeah, and so he didn't know if he'd make it back or not. But this cover sheet you have here is his recommendations on the bids. The bids are in the back through there and under the orange sheets if you'd like to look at those. But these four right here are Ben's recommendations.
Okay, does anybody want to make the motion that we approve all four bids simultaneously?
I'd like to do something here on the used oil. This company that bid against them, they're $40-something cheaper, but this Wilton Springs Hardware is local here, and I think it can be easier to maintain if we got local people here that can maintain and service that pump. So my suggestion, I'll make the motion to accept all the bids except the used oil pump, and I would put in my motion to accept Wilton Springs Hardware.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. Does everybody understand that, or is any discussion?
I have one question.
Yes.
Does that fall under the guidelines, or do you have to accept the low bid?
Terry can answer that better than me. There's no stipulation that says you have to, take the low bid. That's generally a standard.
That's all.
That would be acceptable.
Did we vote on that?
We make that motion.
Okay. All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Okay, next we have the comments from citizens. We have two that's requested to speak. It's a 5-minute maximum. Roger Gribble is down first. If you'd come to the podium, please.
Thank you, Connie, for that opportunity to be on the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, in a time when everyone knows that utilities in the next few years is going to increase astronomically, the Newport Utility Board dismissed one of the best persons we will ever find to operate our utility. Thousands of people have signed petitions to reinstate Glenn Ray. What did we get? Silence. An expertly crafted letter from Wimberly, Lawson, Wright, Days, and Jones. Directors of Newport Utility, the director of the Newport Utilities, and a member of the City Newport Board. We've asked the City Council to act however they can act to remove the members of the utility, because the majority of the city board is members of the utility. Why did we get ourselves in such a mess? Because council, the city council, voted to have more than one member on the utility board. All 5 of y'all could be on the utility board. We now have 3. And look what a situation we found ourselves in. You know, they voted themselves on the board, so to bring it to the council city council is meaningless because they're not going to vote themselves off. Members of the utility board have told me they signed the appraisal for Glen Ray, and I quote, "I didn't know it was going to be used to threaten to fire him." Several utility board members said they were going to correct the action. They did nothing. The city alderman can't do anything because of what I mentioned earlier. Because of this majority of the aldermen control who goes on and who comes off the utility board. Folks, that's just not right. I wonder who set that up and why. You ought to go back and read what was passed in this council. It says one member.
Not this council.
Yeah, a previous council that put them on the city board, passed in this council.
Yeah,
Previously. Said one member. By the time it reached Nashville and was passed, it said at least one member. So that means all 5 of the city council can be on the utility board. Folks, that doesn't make any sense. It's just not right. The majority of the ratepayers on the utility are in the county anyway. The majority of the money that comes in from the county, not from the city. Navy Admiral William McRaven recently spoke at the University of Texas, saying the decisions we make in life changes the lives of many people. Every person in their lifetime is going to meet about 10,000 people.
Time's up.
Pardon? Pardon me? Well, then I guess I'm finished.
Why do you think they fired him?
Pardon? I have no earthly idea.
Thank you, Roger.
And it doesn't matter, but my time's up. Thank you. Don't remember that, John. Thank you.
Before we go to Mr. Brandon, who's requested to speak as well, when the city council had this put in the charter, I can appoint no one to any board that makes a salary for serving on that board. The only board members that like the planning commission, anything that doesn't pay any money, I appoint. When this was first brought about, this charter, to put a member on, and then it became 2, the council, we were trying to determine how to go about doing that, which they had, that previous council had the right to put on who they want. They requested that I put one on, and my suggestion to them was that we alternate it yearly for the people that wants to serve on it. Then when it come to 2, they still wanted me to appoint 2 and every year rotate them off and let 2 more, or if any more wanted to serve on that. But there's been a rumor out there that I appoint council members that serve on the utilities board. I do not. The previous council and at the beginning of this council, that was the request that was made. But they, excuse me, they have the authority to appoint. I don't have. And while I'm speaking, before Mr. Brandon speaks, I've got something that I need to say. I am making a request to the Newport Utilities Board, or a recommendation, however you want to word it. I don't know all the circumstances that the board has been involved in. I don't know all the circumstances that Glenn's been involved. I don't know what all's happened. All I have heard is stuff. Okay? This is my suggestion from a person that has evaluated people for 39 years, roughly. I'm going to suggest, or recommend, as I stated earlier, that if the Utilities Board could possibly look at this again, if Glenn was not performing his duties correctly, and I don't know, I've heard what Glenn said, and a lot of people in the community. I've heard information from council members that serves on the board. I would have liked to have seen at 5 or 6 months of his service, if something was wrong, or at 7 or 8 months, it doesn't matter. If there was something wrong, in my professional opinion, as an administrator, there should have been a sit down with Glenn. I don't know if there was or not. There should have been an improvement plan drawn up, went over with Mr. Glenn Ray. These are the areas that we think you're deficient in. You have this timeline to make improvements to this for us to review your contract. Now, to me, that is the appropriate way to do it. What was done, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I'm requesting or recommending that the Newport Utilities revisit this, offer the job back to him, if it's a resignation or if it's a firing, whatever, and go through that process, because that's the process we deal with this day and time when we're dealing with any employee. And I would like to be aware, as I'm sure other council members would like to be aware, if there is a problem, I think that's the way to fix it. That's my opinion, for what it's worth. Mr. Brown.
Oh, I'll be very brief and to the point. My name is Robert Brannon. I've gotten years of dealing with boards. I've been CEOs of large companies and that sort of thing. First of all, I would say the city council appoints boards. Many people think these people have done a disservice to the community. I ask y'all for a motion to move those people from the board right now. If they can't vote, you can. I'll ask for that motion. Secondly, I want to assure these people that next year there's going to be a different council up here. And I guarantee you that I'm going to be recommending that they clean that whole board out. Glenn Ray should be on that board because he's the most intimately involved person with the operation of that utility. I got involved in this by many people calling me because they know I have experience in this area. I normally deal with just animals, but I've never seen such a unifying of people in this community as on this issue. And I am in awe of them, frankly, so I'm glad to be a part of this, even though it doesn't affect animals. I ask for you guys to have a motion to move these people from the board. I want to ask the next city council to change the board. There's too much public dissatisfaction. They feel they've done wrong. I've asked everybody all the right questions, and I think they've done wrong too, and the public feels that way. This is public service. The public does not feel that they're serving the public. What more can I say? Buck, how many more minutes I got? You use up half when it don't count then.
3 minutes and 1 second.
Okay. Sometimes you have to take action. It's not always pleasant, but public service requires that you have no ulterior motives, that you serve the public, and the public believes that you are serving them. If the public doesn't think you're serving them, you're doing a disservice to the public. That is the case in this situation. The public, hundreds, do not think that you're servicing them. These are good people. These are not just scallywags. So I'm asking you people to have a motion right now to move these three from the board. I want to ask the next council to clean that board out. You should hire Glenn Ray back with his back salary. He should be on the board because, after all, he's the one that's most intimately involved with the operation of that company. Common sense. I've done this for years and years and years with billion-dollar boards. This is basic. You hire people of integrity that have no ulterior motives, that have some business background, some administrative background, so that they can make good decisions. They're supposed to be accountable for every decision they make. Somebody brings them something to sign, why am I signing this? What's the effect of this? They have an obligation to know. If they don't know, they're doing the public a disservice. I'll take any questions if I got any more moment left. If I got questions?
Mr. Brown, I just appreciate the mayor.
Mike, if, let me do citizens' comments when he finishes, and we need to come to the mic because of the recorder. Okay.
You have any more? I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody's got to have on this matter.
Would it make a difference if one of us made a motion to have them leave the board?
I think, now I'm not, so y'all can correct me, I don't think those three could vote. If you made a motion, he seconded it, I think you two would vote to move him from the board. I think that's the way it would work.
Absolutely not. That's not.
Now if you got the courage to do it, you do it. Huh?
We cannot make a motion on this item. It's not an agenda item. It's just a citizen's comment.
We'll do it as soon as you can.
It would have to be something that would have to be placed on a future agenda as an agenda item.
Put it on the agenda then. Sometimes you have to do these things, and always pleasant, but you do the right thing, you serve the public. Anything else I can say?
Thank you, Robert.
Pretty well covered it.
I appreciate it. Citizens' comments. Mike, and then you, John. Mike, just come to the podium, please.
I appreciate the attitude. I told them this bunch has got a very hard and very difficult decisions to make, but I appreciate you standing up and just giving people, put them on the same even playing field, give both of them the opportunity to talk to each other. Get this worked out, and it's going about our business. The town and the county's got a lot more things to keep on and on worrying about than this right here. And I hope that they would just be fair with people. That's all we asked, and it wasn't done firing up right the first time. And I believe we could save a lot of problems, lawsuits and all this, if we would just take the time and try to do it, go over it, and let's get these feelings out of the way, hard feelings, good feelings. Everybody comes from good families. Everybody wants to be represented, and let's get this out of the way. I like all the board, every which way, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mike. John?
I just got 3 questions.
Can you come to the podium, honey, because of the recorder? Rocky's on the hot and heavy.
Mine's simple. 3 questions. How many paid boards do we have in the city? Because some of our boards do some incredibly good work.
The utilities board, the beer board, the civil service boards, the police and the fire. Right off the top of my head, I can't. I believe that's it.
Okay, second question. How much does the utility board member get compensation monthly?
I checked on that. It's somewhere around $200.
Okay, our 3
Sure, you know exactly. I checked on that once. It's $200, $225 per month, and there's some kind of liability insurance.
No.
Or there's nothing on that.
Okay, third question.
Chairman makes a little bit more.
Okay.
Do our utility board, our city council members who get paid for being on city council, are they double dipping and getting paid by the utilities board too?
I couldn't answer that question. I don't know.
So somebody wants to research and let me know.
Yes, get paid from both.
They didn't pay for both because they're on both.
It's called double dipping some places. Thank you.
Nothing wrong with that.
Citizens' comments. Any others?
I got one more comment. I'm still a citizen, I guess. I got 3 seconds left. I think this is going to work into a lawsuit. It's going to be very costly. I encourage this board, since y'all can't remove them, to hire this man, pay him his back salary, and lay this aside. Because taxpayers should not have to bear the burden of the cost of a lawsuit. And I can assure you some taxpayers are planning on suing them to be reimbursed for the cost of that lawsuit, but it's stuff they're going to lose. So I hope that they'll act accordingly.
Thank you, Robert. Yes, Mike?
Thank you. I want you to know, Mayor, that you have reinforced my confidence in you by your comments, because I've known you since we were kids,
and I know that you are the type of person that will do the right thing. So your comments previously have reassured that confidence I have in you and I've always had in you. There were two things brought up here tonight that are very important. First of all, it's a prayer rendered by this gentleman here. Do the right thing. The next thing is this. There are more people in the county than there are in the city that pay utilities. So we should revisit not only this issue, but how we set up our board, because there's no representation for county people on this board, and that's really not fair. And Terry will tell you that's not fair. We all have a right to representation when we pay money.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Any other comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a